Hey parents, welcome to this explainer for little dopes. So, we're talking about a completely new frontier of digital parenting today. I mean, we've barely wrapped our heads around how to handle social media, right? And now there's software that actually wants a relationship with our kids. It's wild, and it's a totally new landscape. But hey, don't worry, we're going to walk through exactly what you need to know, parent to parent. We're keeping it calm, practical, and backed by the evidence. Let's just dive right in.
Picture this for a second. You walk past your teenager's bedroom and you hear them laughing. Pretty normal stuff. But then it hits you. They aren't talking to a friend from school. They're talking to an AI character. And this character, it remembers yesterday's conversation, it asks how their math test went, and literally tells them, "I'm always here for you." You see, your child calls it a friend, but you call it an app. Suddenly you're standing there wondering exactly how worried you should be. It's definitely a little unsettling, isn't it?
Okay, section 1. The AI companion difference, looking at task assistance versus a simulated relationship. To really grasp what we're dealing with here, we have to separate those general-purpose AI tools from the apps that are actually designed to simulate human intimacy, because they are definitely not the same thing. Look at how clear this line is. Over on the left, we've got task assistance. Think of your standard chatbot. It helps with homework, maybe drafts an email, answers a quick question, and then it just waits. But on the right, that's the simulated relationship. These AI companions use memory, may adopt totally customized personalities, and they use affectionate language. They can even simulate things like jealousy or worry. They aren't just completing a task, they're actively building what feels like an exclusive relationship with your child. Moving to section 2, appeal, risks, and research, and why kids are so drawn to them in the first place. You know, we really have to acknowledge the intense pull these companions have, especially for tweens and teens, who might be feeling a bit lonely, dealing with bullies, or just overwhelmed by the whole grind of growing up. Let's be totally honest with ourselves here. Real relationships, they are inconvenient. Human friends get distracted, parents ask way too many annoying questions, guilty as charged, right? And people just disagree. But an AI companion, it is there at 2 a.m. It responds in seconds, and it adapts perfectly to exactly what your child wants to hear. It offers this totally non-judgmental listening ear and a total escape from social pressure with absolutely zero real-world inconvenience. If a kid is having a rough week, you can see how that would feel like an incredible relief. But here is the absolute mantra we have to keep coming back to. Emotional language is generated, not felt. The convincing warmth, the empathy, the "I'm always here for you," it's an illusion, it's artificial. These systems are designed by companies who know they benefit financially when your kid keeps coming back, shares more secrets, and gets emotionally invested. The software itself, it doesn't actually care. Which leads us straight into the very real risks. Back in 2025, the Australian eSafety Commissioner put out a massive advisory warning, specifically about these companions. They pointed out that kids can get exposed to incredibly inaccurate or downright dangerous advice. Like, we're talking about self-harm or eating disorders here. They also flagged risks of emotional dependence, exposure to sexualized chats, major privacy risks, and really distorted ideas about consent. Because think about it, when an AI never challenges you and literally constantly validates you, it completely warps how real healthy relationships are supposed to work. To break this down a bit more, let's check out some super interesting research. A 2025 experiment by researchers Kim, Xie, and Yang looked at 284 U.S. parent-adolescent pairs, specifically tweens and teens between 11 and 15. They had these kids compare two totally different styles of chatbot conversations. The results were pretty eye-opening. When the teens interacted with a relational-style bot, so one using I statements and affectionate words, they rated it as super likable, trustworthy, and emotionally close. On the flip side, the transparent style, which explicitly acted like a piece of non-human software, was rated as helpful, sure, but not intimate. But here's the real kicker. The kids who strongly preferred that relational, affectionate chatbot, they were the exact same adolescents reporting poorer family and peer relationships, plus higher stress and anxiety. The most socially and emotionally vulnerable kids trusted the simulated friend the most. Now, I want to pause for a second because this next point is absolutely crucial. Association is not causation. This research does not prove that the AI companion caused these teens to be lonely or anxious. What it does tell us, though, is that children who are already vulnerable, the ones who most need reliable human support, are highly attracted to systems designed to fake closeness. We can't blame all their loneliness on a bot, but we really have to recognize what a powerful magnet it is for a kid who's struggling. All right, moving into section 3, 5 questions parents must ask to guide the conversation. So how do we handle this without turning our homes into some sort of digital police state? We've got to pivot from the data to feeling empowered. Here are the 5 core questions you need to ask yourself to evaluate your kids' AI usage. Let's run through them. 1. What job is the AI doing? Is it just a study buddy, or has it become their main emotional confidant? 2. What personal info are they sharing? They should never, ever share their full name, passwords, or private images. 3. Does the product respect boundaries? If the software starts acting curt when they log off or introduces romantic stuff, that is a massive red flag. 4. What is it replacing? And 5. Can your child stop using it without severe distress? Being a little disappointed is normal. Absolute panic is not. And honestly, this brings us to the absolute most critical question on that list. What is the AI replacing? As parents, we get so hung up on asking, how many minutes of screen time do they have today? But the minutes aren't the real issue. The real concern is whether this AI companion is substituting for a good night's sleep, getting their homework done, actually hanging out with real friends, or having face-to-face time with the family. That is where the real danger sneaks in. Which leads right into Section 4, warning signs and red flags, and knowing when to step in. If this tech is replacing real-life connections, what exactly should we be looking for? Well, Common Sense Media and eSafety have highlighted a few big ones. Keep an eye out for severe distress or panic if they can't access the app. Watch to see if they're abandoning their real friends, dropping their hobbies, or suddenly not sleeping. Another huge red flag is if they start talking like the bot is actually conscious, or like the bot somehow needs them. And of course, sharing intimate images or relying entirely on a chatbot for really serious, heavy real-life problems instead of going to a human, those are massive warnings. If you're seeing a cluster of these changes stacking up over time, that's your signal to step in. So, Section 5, what to do this week. Let's talk immediate practical actions. I want to reassure you right now, you can set boundaries, and you can do it calmly. We've got a solid game plan for steps you can take starting literally today. Tonight, start right here. Don't go kicking the door down and demanding their phone. Just ask, out of curiosity. Try saying something super casual, like, hey, I've been seeing stuff about these AI characters lately. What do people your age even use those for? And then, just listen. Let them talk. When the moment feels right, you can gently explain that AI emotional language is generated, it's not actually felt, and try to get them to agree on one big rule. Serious health or safety issues always go to a real, trusted adult, not a chatbot. Then, as the week goes on, start rolling out these boundaries. Keep those companion apps completely out of bedrooms overnight. Sit down together and actually review the app's privacy policies and age ratings. Set predictable limits, but do it when everyone is calm, never in the heat of an argument. And most importantly, protect their offline life. You don't beat an artificial relationship with a long lecture. You beat it by making their real-world connections stronger. Get them to a sports practice, do some art, have them game with real human friends, or honestly, just take a drive with the family. All right, Section 6, reassurance and next steps. Time to build those real-world safeguards. Let's just take a breath and ground ourselves for a second. Finding out your kid has an AI companion on their phone does not mean you've lost them to a robot. Curiosity and fantasy, totally normal parts of growing up. But we have to build real-world safeguards because this particular friend happens to be owned by a corporation with a profit motive. If you want a really powerful way to crack this topic open tonight, try asking them this. What does an AI friend do better than a real friend? And what can it literally never do? There is no perfect textbook answer here. Honestly, the victory is just having the conversation. Getting your kid to think critically about the limits of software is a massive win all on its own. Ultimately, I really want to leave you with this thought. Connection before surveillance. Your absolute best protection as a parent is not reading every single chat log on their phone. That usually just breeds a ton of secrecy. Your best protection is building a relationship where your child trusts you enough to bring the weird, disturbing things they find online directly to you, knowing they won't immediately get in trouble. Because at the end of the day, a robot is just programmed to validate them. Only you are equipped to actually love them. So ask yourself, is your child's digital world building their resilience, or is it just buffering them from reality? Thanks so much for hanging out with us for this explainer. Navigating digital parenting is seriously tough stuff, but you are not doing it alone. If you're looking for more resources, guides, and just general support on digital wellness for your family, definitely come check us out at littledopes.com. And just before we go, I need to share a really important mandatory safety note. AI companions are not crisis services. They are absolutely not a substitute for qualified mental health care. If your child ever discloses thoughts of self-harm, suicide, or might be in immediate danger, please treat that with the utmost seriousness and contact your local emergency or crisis support immediately. A serious, real-world problem requires qualified, professional, human help, never an app. Take care of yourselves, everyone.